Hello. Hello. Hi. Hi, guys. Can anybody see me, hear me, anything? I was trying to do a countdown. I messed that up. Trial TV is telling me yes. Okay, thank God. Hi, guys. So, thank you for coming again. Believe it or not, I've been working on this all day long, trying to put together some coherent information for you guys. I looked at some of your questions that you had, and I'm going to try to answer them best I can. Hi, Jenny. How are you? Hi, Trial TV Live. They're the best. What would I be doing without them? Not this. That is for sure. So we had a lot of action going on in cases this week, but no trial. How do you guys feel about what was going on? I've got things pulled up so that we can talk about them. I have 4. So I think it's Sarah, Delphi, Karen Reed, and I'm missing one. I can't think of the 4th one. Somebody will tell me what the 4th one is. Okay, chat is not moving at all for me. Courtney Clinty, thank you, Jeannie. Yeah, so you guys, you're going to see me turning my head. I kind of can't help it because I don't have a webcam on my big screen. I've got one over here on this screen. And I'm looking at the big screen so I can read your comments. It's not a good setup. It's not a perfect setup. It's going to take me a little bit to get everything straight, including the software. So I'm switching back and forth between looking at the camera and looking at you. So yes, Courtney Clinty, Jenny, that is exactly right. Okay. How are you, Jenny? Oh, wow, we have 6 people. Yay. Okay, so where should we start? Should we start with Sarah? Anyone? Put what you want to start with in the chat, and I'll try to be useful. Oh, no, I'm sorry to hear your husband's sick, Jenny. Hi, Alexis. What is Henry up to this evening? I don't know, but let's just leave him wherever he is because he has been a pain all day. He could make an appearance. Yeah, okay. So I'm leaving my streams up on YouTube unedited because I want to dispel the myth that everything has to be perfect. And at some point in my life, maybe even a week ago or a month ago, I would have edited the crap out of that live stream. I would have beaten myself up about it. I'd be all upset about this one that it's not perfect. I'm not going to do that. Life is messy. You learn as you go. And that's how I feel about this. Is like, I want to talk to people. It doesn't have to be perfect. So you're going to get the imperfections and go along for the ride. And hopefully one day it'll smooth out. So, okay, Sarah's new motion. Are you guys scared? I thought somebody looked scared where I was reading about it. This is not unusual. First, do not panic. Do not panic at all. Okay, it is not uncommon for a defense attorney to ask for a new trial at all. Now, he states, I believe, in his motion 4 grounds, one of which was that he believes the judge erred in not granting a continuance. I think that, so we've talked about this before, or I feel like it has been talked about before. Judge Kranick wrote, in my opinion, as a non-practicing attorney, one of the most cohesive, well-researched orders I've ever seen. So I feel like the fact that she was on notice about so much of this and so many years have gone by that it's probably not an issue. I'm I'm going to put it this way. I'm not terribly worried about it. We'll see. Her second, one of the other ones was the outburst from the family. So that should be a mistrial. That happens all the time. I don't think that that was overly prejudicial to the jury. Hi, Amy. Thanks for coming in. Hi. Ooh, we're up to 10 people. You guys. Everybody say hi in the chat. You don't have to chat. You can just say hi. So the second one was the outburst, right, from George's family. I mean, she gasped or she sobbed or something. That's kind of on the state to an extent, because they really should have prepared her or taken her out of the courtroom. Oh, hey, Lisa Sandberg. Nice to see you, girl. So it wasn't like a huge outburst. I mean, we've seen weirder things, I think. I don't think it probably at that point had any kind of prejudicial effect on the jury. I mean, Sarah did herself in. Let's see, what were the other two that I'm sorry, I gotta look on a screen for it to tell me. I can only remember so many things at a time. I remember that. And then let's see, I have it pulled up here. Okay, so her grounds were: the court erred when it denied a motion for a new trial due to an emotional outburst in the presence of the jury. We just talked about that. The court erred in allowing the opinion of the state's expert not previously disclosed. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Argument 5, am I missing a page? Argument 5 was prosecutor committed misconduct by using rebuttal argument to make a second closing argument. Okay. So the one I find the most interesting, and I guess the one that I have the least understanding of right now, is the expert changing her testimony. I didn't even catch that. So he's saying that things should be, that's grounds for a new trial because the expert testified differently than the state presented it. And I don't know, is this the doctor that testified in the middle of the trial, or had to do a deposition in the middle of the trial? Leah, I agree with you. I think that the family wasn't very disruptive, and that Owens made it into a much bigger deal than it had to be, or that it was. And we know that's par for the course for Owens. I didn't think he ever won any favor of any kind with the jury. And then so I would have to go back and rewatch that testimony, and I was trying to catch up on everything, like a little bit of each of these cases, so that I would have something actually to talk to you about while people came in, if people came in and asked me questions. So I only know a little bit about several things. And the other argument in Sarah's case, which we just said, and I already forgot, was the prosecutor committing misconduct by using rebuttal argument to make a second closing argument. That's interesting. That's interesting. I didn't even know that was a thing. I think that I was so flabbergasted by the state's rebuttal. I'm not sure I heard anything again after that. So I'm not really, I don't feel like right now that these are great grounds for a new trial. I don't think he's going to get that. I think we're going to go to sentencing, because it would be Judge Kranick that rules on that right now. And then if Judge Kranick enters an order saying denied, then what Owens will do is he'll appeal it up to the district court for Orlando, which I think is the 5th. I'm not sure. And then an appellate court can take it up. So I don't want anybody to be scared. Sarah will not be getting a brand new trial, not soon, hopefully not ever. She will be sentenced in the beginning of December. Trial TV, I think, is going down to the sentencing, and I may go with them if I'm capable. So, and I still think Kranick's going to give her life. I had a question from Bev in my emails, and she wanted to know about sentencing in Florida. So I have actually prepared materials, but I don't know how to share them. And I'm afraid if I mess around with this, I'll do what I did last week, which is boot myself off the screen. So I think it's an important discussion to have. I think Bev asked some great questions in her email, and I will try to do a little recording. Like I've got the statute pulled up. So everything in Florida is done by statute pretty much. So you can go to the statute and find out anything you want to know. And then I've got a blank score sheet pulled up to show you as well. But the reason why they set off sentencing is they're waiting for a pre-sentencing investigation to be completed. Normally that is done by, I believe, the Florida Department of Corrections. I just had a client who just had one done, so I ought to know this. But they kind of do a little background. They go and interview the defendant. They look at past conduct, what would happen to them if they came out of prison. Would they have a family to go to? Would they be productive? Um, that sort of thing. And then they write up a little report. Like I said, I have one here for a client who is currently awaiting sentencing, and we're trying to get evaluated. So if I can redact that or find another one, I will pull it and show you guys as soon as I figure out either how to record or to show documents by sharing my screen. So that's the reason for the delay. That's why Sarah was not sentenced the day of. She will be sentenced, Jenny says, the 2nd at 1:30. I am really interested in seeing what Judge Koenig has to say. Really interesting, because this is his chance. He gets to say all the things he never got to say. And so if any of you watch the Murdaugh trial, then you know that judges can make some fairly moving, powerful statements at the end. So I still think he's going to sentence her to life, and I think he's going to have some words for her. And then what will happen is that James Owens will file a notice of appeal. That is also not anything to panic over. That is standard practice. He has to do that within 30 days to preserve her right to appeal. I may be getting the language of the rule wrong. And then an appellate attorney would pick it up from there. So they are conducting their pre-sentencing investigation. If Owens has any mitigation, which is to set off the aggravators, so like good things about Sarah, she contributes to society, she's a good volunteer, she's an outstanding mother to her son, she excels in everything, that would be mitigation. Or if they get a doctor to, I guess, maybe even evaluate her differently. But I don't think there's going to be much. I mean, Owens may try. I don't think there's going to be much. And then the family will get a chance to make victim impact statements. So that is what we are looking for in Sarah's sentencing. And after that, I believe she will still stay in the Orange County. It's Orange County, yeah, Orange County jail. I always want to call Orlando Citrus County. I don't know why. Somebody summoned Henry, and here he is. He's going to bite me now. So she will remain in the Orlando jail there, but just for a few days until she is processed into the Florida DOC, and then they will take her away. And normally it would be like a 1 to 2 year process. It could be longer for an appeal. I don't know. It just depends on what happens there. And I don't do a lot of work in that realm, although I'd like to. Hi, Judy. Amy says she's been writing Judge Kane's speech since the verdict, and in his speech, I hope he says oh my God, hold on, I'm going to show that. So Amy is saying, I've been writing Judge Kane's speech since the verdict, and in his speech, I say, Oh, I hope he says that it qualified for a charge of first degree. Oh, that she should have been charged with first degree murder versus the second. Problem is the premeditation, I think, on that. But I do think she'll get life, so that's all right. She's very famous now, though. If you Google her, like, she's got her own wiki, all kinds of things. There's a lot of information out there about Sarah. So she will have plenty of pen pals wherever she ends up. We know how much she likes writing letters. Okay, does anybody have any further questions on Sarah Boone that they want me to try to answer? I probably need to go back and rewatch some of that trial, but I was so disturbed by it. Okay, now my chat moves in spurts. Jenny says, in Lloyd Daybell's case, the judge really let her have it, then didn't say a word to Chad Daybell. Interesting. Okay, so when the judge sentenced, interesting. Okay, I didn't watch that. Amy Crew, her prior knowledge about the dangers of suitcases and their dangers prior knowledge. You guys. Oh, Alexis, were you on some of the streams where you could hear Henry? Yeah, he gets very vocal. And he's learning how to sing for the opera. And again, for anybody who's just coming in, I'm turning my head because I've got a bigger screen to my right where I can read more easily than I can over here. This is an extremely professional setup I have going here. People will want to do this. Okay, so Amy says Amy is saying she thinks that that it's because Chad got the death penalty. Because Lori did not. Is that right? Oh, here he goes. No, we're not going to do that right now. So yeah, maybe. I don't know. That whole situation with the Daybells, that was a lot for a long time. And like I said last week, I'm just kind of over parents unaliving their children. So I listened to enough of the Daybell saga to know that I don't particularly want to or need to listen to anymore. So then the next person we have up for discussion is Karen Reed. I had no idea that they'd already scheduled a retrial. This is brand new information to me. Despite having a lot of YouTube on a lot of the time, I do also have to focus on my own cases, which I try to do so that I can get paid. So I did not know that Karen Reed was getting a new trial already. I cannot believe that the same judge is going to try that case again. I think she's a terrible judge, for one, but two, I think she should not be covering this trial. And then I saw where both parties were agreeing, right? The defense and the prosecution were both agreeing on like streamlining the trial. So in other words, I guess we're not going to have 15 officers talk about the snow. I still don't. Oh, and they're getting a new expert, maybe a new DNA expert, but a new expert. And so I'm wondering, how do you salvage DNA that was collected in red Solo cups? Because I'd love to know. Like, is that what the new expert is going to test? Or is it going to be a mirror image of a Lexus SUV in police impound? The whole thing's a mess. And the question out there is it double jeopardy? And I looked that up, and the answer is it can be, but it's not. So jeopardy attaches usually when a jury is sworn. So after they've picked the jury and then they have them all like raise their hands and take an oath and they start the trial, that's when jeopardy attaches. So that means that you cannot be charged for the same crime twice, except for certain circumstances. The judge declared a mistrial, so she can be tried again. Jenny, don't be sad you didn't follow that case at all. That was the longest slog through a trial. Oh my God. And those officers, the thing that is so interesting, though, about the Karen Reed case is the amount of corruption that was uncovered, I think unintentionally, at this trial. The Canton Police Department, I mean, I'm more interested in knowing the results of the federal investigation into um, the investigation into Karen Reed, because that was crazy. I mean, we had snow blowers and red Solo cups and officers going to bars and drinking and driving home in their cars, all the things. It's just, I can't, I can't quite wrap my head around it. But I don't like that judge, and I think I don't like her because she doesn't seem to be explaining anything ever. She just makes these decisions, and it's like, well, the defense didn't get to object to a mistrial because I think she pulled it out of her sleeve so fast. So, um, yeah, Amy says she couldn't listen to the voice of the state's attorney for the Reed case. That's entirely possible too. Sometimes I just can't stand whoever it is, whoever is trying the case, and that's hard. That and then that'll just shut me down on it. Leah says I have 13. Well, now I have 12 people watching. Please leave your DNA on the like button. That would be fantastic. Thank you. So Karen is going to be retried in January. I do think that I don't think she killed him. I do not see how she could have hit him hard enough to break that thick glass on her Lexus SUV and kill. In my mind at least, it always seemed more probable that he got into a fight inside, that those other cops may have beat him up and put him out in the snow to die. How she broke her taillight, maybe on the plow of the one guy who was texting her. If they figure it out, I want to know. Hi, Judy. You are back. How are you? Okay, so Sarah and Karen, got that down. I want to talk about, who is the third one? Courtney Clinny. Is that the one? So that's one that I'm interested in following. I know very, very little about it. But one of the reasons why I thought we could talk about it on this channel was because there's a lot of pretrial activity going on. And I feel like everybody tunes in and watches the trial, right? And we have great trial channels on YouTube. We have great commentators. I'm not one of them, but and I know a lot of people cover and a lot of people watch the motions hearings, but I also kind of wonder if it's being explained enough. And so I thought I would take a look when I get a chance at Courtney Clinny and see if there was anything there that was interesting, especially like in terms of what is happening before we're getting to trial, right? Because that's what I want to be telling you guys about is this the side I see, which is a lot of information that the jury will never see and that we will never see on YouTube. In fact, we see on YouTube more than the jury sees, because they send the jury out a lot in these cases, some more than others. If they have done their motions practice properly, then they shouldn't be having to send the jury out every 5 minutes for extended periods of time. So I don't know much about that case. I know that it has to do with social media. I believe we're looking at another woman claiming self-defense for being abused. I'm not 100% sure on that. I need to look that up. But that was one that I thought might be a little newer and fresher that we could maybe take a look at. I'm going to see what you guys are saying. Oh, hi, Judy. I'm sorry you're having problems staying connected. Oh, Jenny is saying, okay, hold on. I'm afraid I'm going to knock my computer down if I do all the commenty things. So Jenny is saying they had a motion hearing recently with a guy throwing a knife at a pig to say she shouldn't get charged or something. Yeah. I think we should talk about that, no? I mean, it sounds interesting to me. At least it's something different. Like I said, I can't take any more of these torturing children and letting them die situations. Okay. So Then the last one that I sort of collected some thoughts about was Delphi. A long, long time ago, I listened to a podcast about Delphi. I know the generalities of what happened. I know it's a very long time ago, and that Richard Allen is now on trial. The verdict has not come in. They deliberated today, and they still have not reached a verdict. They okay, let's go back to the pig thing. So Leah wants to know from Jenny, did they actually bring a pig into the court to do the knife throwing thing to see? No, it was a video. Okay. And you couldn't listen to the whole thing because the sound was bad. Got you. That's the worst, is when we can't get a clean feed. But my friends at Trial TV Live, who are super supportive and fantastic and running clean live streams all day long, have you covered. They're the ones that are just streaming super clean footage of old trials, new trials. They had a couple trials going on at the same time this week, so you get choices. Oh, Trial TV, they are they're currently streaming a trial, so that's why they are not in the chat. But Erin, of course, has been helping me all day. Hi, Erica. Thanks for coming over. Alexis, Delphi requires too much of a deep dive. Courtney's case is a great chance for you to dive in early, well before trial. I agree with you, except for this one piece. Leah sent me last night a link to Andrea Burkhart's channel where she and, I'm going to get it wrong, Lawyer Lee and Bob Mata were discussing Delphi, because there has been no transparency in that courtroom whatsoever. None. We can't hear anything. We can't see anything. They are taking notes. Their discussion from last night. Hey, everybody, for coming from Trial TV Live. Hi. Oh, hi, therapist. Hi, OnlyFan. Hi, guys. Hey, everybody. Oh, wow. Look at my view count just jumped up. Hi, welcome. Welcome. What trial did you guys just finish watching? Hit the link for the, please hit the link for the Trial TV Live. They are managing mods here, so they can put their link in the chat, because Lord knows I do not know how to do that correctly, and I'll knock the computer over. So thanks. What trial were you guys streaming? What was on today's agenda? Chandler Halderson girlfriend interviews and jail calls. Okay, so was he one of the ones you were streaming yesterday? Today is Saturday. So I had whatever you were streaming, I had one of them on yesterday, although I can't remember. Hi, Unbalanced Equation. Thanks for asking everybody to hit the like button. I appreciate it. Hi, Squeegee of Justice. You guys were watching Jewel yesterday. Okay. Yeah, thanks you guys for coming over from Trial TV Live. I was just talking about you, and then I think you showed up, or vice versa. Leave your DNA on the like button. Thank you, and subscribe. Love that. Louisa and Jewel were yesterday. Okay, I can't follow all the trials, so I do not know. Hi, therapist. You asked about me earlier. I'm here. I wasn't in chat today because I was actually trying to prepare things to show you, which I got a lot of things mostly done. I need to do a trial private stream to see if I'm capable of putting materials up on the screen for you guys to see. And then I think I was actually working yesterday, so I have to do that sometimes. So I pop in and out of the chat when I can. Sometimes I am here and listening. Sometimes I am watching, and other times I'm at the jail. So I have a hearing that I'm getting ready for on that 1999 case, which I can explain in a second. I was doing a hi Julie. I did have a train of thought going, but of course I can't remember what it was. Oh, Delphi. Okay, so I understand that nobody wants to go down the Delphi road. I get that. But last night on her channel, Andrea Burkhart and Lawyer Lee and Bob Mata had like a roundtable discussion. They have been going to Delphi every day. We've got no audio, we've got no video. They're not showing the press the evidence or the exhibits or anything. So we've got nothing, right? And we're just getting the information from the people who are there. And one, I'm really angry about the lack of transparency there. But in this video that Leah sent me last night, which I have it queued up, but I don't actually know how to share it with you and not like in the stream, kick myself off, all the usual things. In this conversation they're having, right about the little over the 1 hour mark, they start talking about the resources afforded to the defense versus the state. And I'm going to keep working on it and see if I can pull the little clip and do a little video and get it posted, because the two of them, or the three of them, Bob's wife subbed in for him at one point, but they were having a really great discussion about being used to judges not liking the defense, and apparently this judge really, really, really doesn't like the defense, and so they're kind of used to being a little malaligned. But this was really bad. Little Miss, thank you. Go to sleep. Sleep well. So anyway, on Andrea's channel, which is Andrea Burkhart, she, I think it's like right around 1 hour, 5 minutes, they start talking about the differences between the prosecution and the defense and how the prosecution has so many resources. You guys, I think she said that this trial they believed was in the range of $3 million thus far. And everybody was mad about Sarah Boone being a couple $100,000. I want to play for you that section of their conversation because they explain to you better than I can the situation I find myself in every day, which is working for public defense, basically. So I'm not in the public defender's office, but I'm in a chain. And when a private defense attorney gets appointed to an indigent case, then they have access to some resources, and I happen to be one of them. So I really want to pull that and finish listening to it. I keep hitting pause and I'm like, I got to come back to this. So I do want to bring that up about Delphi. The rest of it sounds absolutely horrific. I know it's being covered on other channels. I don't want to go into it now. It sounds like I mean, they were speaking about like what agency at this point could intervene to stop or to investigate or to do something about what has happened to him and what has happened in this trial. And like I said, I'm just really interested in this piece about the defense attorneys and the resources available and not available to defense counsel, because that's what I've been talking to you guys about since August, those of you who have seen me since August. So I do want to bring you that little bit of information. And then let's see, did I cover them all already? Let's see, we did Sarah, Karen, Delphi, Courtney. I'm missing something. What am I missing? I'm missing something. I know I am. Haley says that she thought the money must include the police investigation as well. Well, the sheriffs or the police department, they're funded, right, by the state. So the prosecutor has a lot of power and a lot of money, a lot of resources are available to the prosecution. But you have to remember that the state of Florida, which is where I am, I know some people maybe have not seen me before. I'm in Florida. The state of Florida is paying for the police. They are paying for the courts. They are paying for the prosecution's salary. They are paying for the public defender's salary. They pay for the experts. The prosecution has experts on retainer or that they hire and get paid to come in and give expert testimony. They have access to the software that extracts your cell phone records. They have the access to that. We get to read what they extract. So we don't have, they don't even market that device and that software to the public. It just doesn't happen. So it's an interesting discussion, and I feel like people kind of misunderstand it in a way, but you have to keep in mind that like the premise is you're presumed innocent until you're proven guilty, and you're supposed to be given a fair trial. And in a lot of cases, it's nowhere near fair. Like I have said before, the agency that pays the experts here, or people like vendors like me in Florida, we can't get doctors to want to show up for that money. It is so ridiculously cheap. So, the state always asks, oh, well, were you paid to testify here today? So was their person. Everybody's getting paid one way or another. All the money for all the trials is coming out of whatever state that's coming from. Amber, Waves of Green, thank you so much for just subscribing. Let me see. I've let some people go by. Thank you guys for reminding each other to hit the like button. Stearns. Is she the one that burned the husband in the backyard? Because that one I have not watched at all. Hi, OnlyFans. Where in Florida are you? Thanks for subbing, Amber Waves of Green. Why isn't there a join button yet? I would. You want to join the chaos? Yeah. So, like I said at the beginning of this stream, I am learning as I go. I am not editing these live streams. They're kind of stream of consciousness at the moment. I do have things pulled up for you guys, but I'm kind of scared that if I try, then I'm going to lose everything. And last week I managed to boot myself out of the stream and then managed to break the stream. And if it weren't for Trial TV Live, there would have been no stream. So we're going to accept the messy and the learning, and then we can go back and appreciate how my skills grow as time goes on. So let's see. Yes, please. Hi, Brooklyn Pisola. Please do subscribe if you enjoy the channel and show some love by hitting the like button. I appreciate you so much. Okay. Hitting the like button will not give you cooties. You guys are so funny. Trial TV, so much love to Sam. Much love right back at you. Maddie Soto. Oh. Yeah, Julie, I am not monetized. Oh, no, OnlyFans said, oh, no, I meant you didn't have to say Florida's in your name. Of course it is. It's been a long day already. I am a danger to myself. I'm just scared of booting myself off the stream and losing people interests. I'm glad you like messy unbalanced equation, because that's what I've got. That's what I've got going on there. Hi, Brooklyn. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Krista. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you guys. Haley. Thank you everybody for being here for the messy, because that's how I roll. Slightly messy and by the seat of my pants most of the time. I think there's so many cool things though that are available to make and show you guys, and videos to film and all kinds of things, but I do have to work. And that's messy too. It's behind my couch on the living room floor. I was going to tell you guys about the hearing. So I gave you a little bit of information last week about a case that I got that the state didn't want to pay for, meaning the JAC in Florida. So in 1999, a young girl, very young girl, was SA'd, as we say here on YouTube, and then unalived. as we also say on YouTube. And if my mother is watching, unalived means deceased. Okay. We do this for the YouTube so they don't get mad. I don't know. Anyway, so they reported her it was kind of a chaotic situation where she lived. And she went missing sometime around 7, like 5 or 6 in the morning. They're not sure. She was seen at 11 p.m. sleeping on the couch. She was not ever seen again. So 2 years goes by after this girl has passed. Unbalanced Equation says, hi, floridapisam mom, if you're here. I think my stepmother is here too, maybe? I don't know. They're hiding from me. Oh, thank you. Erin is putting comments up. Thank you, Erin, for taking pity on me yet again. I appreciate you. So this investigation went cold. She was found in a field. A neighbor found her, grabbed her, and was like holding her, crying. The police tell him to put her down, so he does. Then she is rolled over when the ME gets there, but they don't put any of the stuff down to protect, from anything on her not falling into the ground. And I believe that the neighbor, that there was actually her hair found in his shirt. So we know that there's transfer. Also, there was an expert there that said, no, you can't transfer hair from one surface to another. There were all kinds of messes. 2 years go down, pass by, and they start going to the jail and pulling people out who have a connection to my client. Like if you were in the pod with my client, then they're going to pull you out and they're going to interview you away from the pod. And they're going to say, what's he told you? So they do this. They call it jail sweeps. And lo and behold, don't you know, they get somebody who says that my client told him all about the death of this child. They put that guy on the stand. They ask him, are you getting anything in consideration for your testimony? He says no. They ask him about his convictions. He said, I just have a few traffic tickets, traffic tickets. So he has a few traffic tickets, and what they've just done is they've committed a violation of my client's rights, because they knew, and by they, I mean the sheriff. There were 3 prosecutors on that case. They're 2 investigators. Every single one of them knew that this man was a confidential informant and that he would sing anybody's song for help with his own situation. So my client is convicted and he's sentenced to life without parole. He was 17 years old at the time of this crime. So Florida came back a few years ago and said, okay, if you were sentenced to life without, well, we don't have parole. So if you were sentenced to life as a juvenile, you can now apply for resentencing because we've decided that that's not okay. So in 2018, I believe he was granted the right to have a resentencing hearing. So the public defender's office picks up the case because they have to do an investigation. During this investigation, they come across a letter. This letter says, hey, investigator for the state attorney's office, I came through like a champ for you on that case, and this is what I want now. And that letter went through the hands of some very powerful people in that very small county. Public defender figured this out around 2020, 2021, somewhere in there. As they were going back through all of the evidence, they found out that the state had put up a confidential informant who did not disclose that he was a confidential informant, who gave the key testimony that put a man who was by then 19 years old away for life. So the resentencing hearing had to go on hold. And while that happened, they began an investigation into this prosecutorial misconduct. And the public defender said that they had developed so many alternative suspects that they had to conflict off the case. So it went to a private attorney. And that's how it ended up with me. Last week, I told you that the JAC does not like to pay for post-conviction work. They don't. So if you saw Christian Lake on the big screen in Sarah's trial, he objected strongly to my attorney hiring an investigator for this case because he says you don't have a right to post-conviction investigations. But my attorney was like, okay, but this case is from 1999 and I can't go through all of this discovery. So he gets the hours, I get the case. Now I have 8 banker's boxes sitting in my hallway full of paper. Then I pop a CD that I find into the drive and there's 5,600 documents on that. So all of that is to say that we are finally having a hearing on one of the issues that he's been allowed to go forward on for this prosecutorial misconduct on Tuesday. If that, we think that the judge, the attorney is hoping that the judge is then going to give him 60 days to write a very fat brief on the situation. I hope he's right. The judge has not been so friendly about things like that thus far. Whether if it is granted that he was wrongfully convicted basically because of prosecutorial misconduct, then he gets a new trial. If he doesn't win this motion, then he still goes back for resentencing. And so there's still an investigation. And this is the case that I told you guys that I think is potentially a wrongful conviction because they actually have the wrong guy. I think there's a very strong likelihood of that. And I want to talk about it because I think it could be really interesting, especially from an investigative standpoint, and looking at how the investigations went in 1999 as opposed to now, and how they are solving cases from years ago now with tools that are available now. And they just arrested a man whose name escapes me at the moment, Crumb, I think, for a string of serial killings of young women on the Gulf Coast of Florida during that time frame. And she is the only one that he is not charged with, which is really, really interesting. So we've got trial transcripts, we've got deposition transcripts, we've got all kinds of things, and including the way in which evidence and the collection of evidence has evolved from what we see today, except for Karen Reed, because you do not collect evidence into red Solo cups. It's just not, you just don't do that. Back then, what was acceptable versus what we expect now, and how did we get here? And that ties me back into my whole, I want to go and look at the impact that O.J. Simpson had on our true crime obsession with watching trials and so forth. So I am hoping, I was working on that this week, getting ready for that hearing, which is next week. And I am hoping to be able to pull some information together to give you a little more information about the case, because, you know, it might be interesting for us to talk about. And my research is not as great as I'd like it to be for this, because I do have stuff that has deadlines, and I do procrastinate, and then I have to hurry up and finish whatever I promised an attorney they would have a while ago. So I'm listening to everybody's channels. I'm listening to live streams of trials, and I'm trying to keep up, but I definitely am looking for a case that we can talk about. And so that's why I was thinking Courtney Clenning might be good. I'm going to look over here now. So I'm going to read your chat. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. You guys have been talking for a minute here. Let me see if I can go back on this computer and read it. I don't know how to get the glare off my glasses and read the comments at the same time. Do I have a clock? Yes. On digital devices, I do. I'm trying to see where I left you all. Okay. All right. Leah says hello to all of PI Sam's mothers. Yes, and my father may be lurking as well. This EDB sings a little ditty when streaming is misbehaving. Yes, as EDB says, streaming is dynamic. She's been on YouTube a long time. Let's see. Okay, I don't know the conversation between the two of you guys there. Tainted evidence. Yes, I believe there was. And what there was has disappeared. Okay. Let me see. Some of you are just talking to each other, which is fine. I don't know why Unbalanced Equation is asking me if I have a clock. I do. I don't have a real clock anymore, but on my devices. Menendez. Yes, Jenny, I think you were asking me about Menendez and how I felt about that whole situation. So I haven't been following that. I understand that they are coming up for resentencing and that there was a lot of stuff going on around them in that case at the time. I know their father had been a pretty wealthy and powerful man. And of course, there's, all the connections that they would have had in Los Angeles at the time. So, if they were convicted wrongfully, then absolutely, I think that they should have a shot at being resentenced and or acquitted. If there's anything more on Menendez, I haven't caught it. Okay, some of you guys are surprised about yeah. This kid is no longer a kid anymore. He doesn't even look like his mugshot. You wouldn't know they were the same person. It's really interesting to talk to people who have been incarcerated in prison and not in the county jail for long periods of time, because they become experts on their case and they have access to LexisNexis. I don't have access to LexisNexis. So they do a lot of research and they write a lot of motions that maybe are, maybe aren't technically correct. But as soon as they get a chance to talk to an investigator or an attorney after they've run out all their appeals over the last however many years, that has been 25, 26. He was charged in, murder was in 1999. She was murdered in 2001. Or I'm sorry, he was charged in 2001, but didn't go to trial for a few years and then was sentenced to life after that. So it's been a good 25 years. That's as good as my math is going to get. So what happens when a person who's been incarcerated for a super long time like that, when they get access to somebody like me or an attorney, because attorneys aren't going to represent you forever, you run out your appeals, there's only so much you can do. They start talking and they talk and they talk and they talk and they talk so fast and they spew every kind of thing you can ever think of about their case, about any person that they have ever come across ever. And it is very, very overwhelming, because you have to sit there and say, I hear you, but I can't help you with all of that right now. I have been asked and ordered basically to do something for a very specific purpose. And if I use up all my time chasing whatever it is you want me to chase, then I'm not putting my time and energy into whatever is actually going to help you or hurt you next. So that case has been overwhelming in a lot of ways. He is an overwhelming individual. When I go to see him, they moved him out of Florida DOC and into my county jail. The hearing is on Tuesday. The attorney is incredibly smart, waits till the very last minute on everything, and then sort of expects that I will have read his mind for the last 6 months and can magically produce what it is that he needs. I ask repeatedly and don't often get answers, but I also procrastinate. So, I'm not going to blame everything on everybody else. Amy is asking, is there DNA evidence that can be tested? Well, there were some hairs that were found on the body, but they were never photographed in place. It was never drawn, I don't even think, in place where they were. There were originally 6. Now I think there are 2. They have been retested and destroyed in the process. And basically, the testing came back and said, can't rule them in, can't rule them out. So it's not any help, unfortunately. The sneaky side is saying, Leah, just talking to Leah, transparency can add to public confidence in law enforcement if done the right way. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. And I think what's happening and what's going to continue to happen is more and more wrongful conduct by law enforcement and by the state is going to be uncovered. I mean, the rate is incredibly high for wrongful convictions. I had that statistic pulled up too. So yeah, some of the experts, it's just one canceling the other out, really. Unbalanced equation is asking me about a clock again. So that would be no clock, then it has to be ornamental. Okay, I'm not following that. OJ, Courtney, and score sheet review all sound great. Thanks, Alexis. I'm trying to not just sit up here and free associate on everything. The whole the whole judicial system. Let's see. I don't actually know if all my parental units are here or not. I think I know what my mother's name is, but I don't know who's in here and who's not. So yes, hello to all of my parental units. I appreciate you being here. And now you guys are talking about a TLC song. Great. Okay, good. Let's see. I'm looking for explanation. Hey, Widespread Panic. I was wondering where you were because I remember the Pink Floyd avatar. What is the longest I've ever been on a case? I told you guys last week I have a guy who was arrested, charged with a double murder in 2018, and he is still sitting in the county jail awaiting his death penalty trial. And we tried to get him sort of grandfathered in, if you will, under a law where in Florida for a death penalty, all 12 jurors needed to be unanimous. Well, they changed that. Now you only need 8 of the 12. But our guy has been around so long, we're like, well, hey, let's see if we can't do this, right? To get it, if laws don't usually work like that. So it didn't work. So now we're on the docket for a year from now. So he has been sitting in county jail for 6 years. And I've been working on his case for 6 years, but there's nothing left for me to do. I mean, I've looked at everything. And my colleague and I went out to see him. And as I explained, I'm like, the stuff that I can do for you, I need to wait until we're ready to go for trial because the information is just going to expire and there's no point. And you never know how the JAC will feel about giving more money. So, let's see. Okay, I do not get the clock joke, but I'm used to being made fun of, so it's all good. I don't mind you guys being chatterboxes and talking to each other. So that was the longest case I've ever been on, or am still on. The oldest case is the one I just told you about that's up for resentencing. And one of the things that I thought was, I was listening to those damn Wade Wilson phone calls. Okay, I've stopped now. But before I stopped, he was talking about how they were going to try him under the old law because he committed his atrocious acts before they changed the law for the jurors in Florida. He's so wrong about so many things. I'm just dying to see how that whole saga plays out. Rescue Dogs says, crazy that it takes so long for some cases to go to trial. It really is, and I don't think people understand that. And I don't know if it's like this in every state. I went to law school here. I've worked on cases here. I've, you know, up until recently, I was not participating in YouTube. I was just sort of passively listening to it. I wasn't even in anybody's chats anywhere. So I don't know if this is common throughout the country, but it's really crazy to have him be sitting there for so long. On one hand, it can be good because witnesses that were bad for you we've had a number of them actually die. So that can happen. I'm sorry, my chair is squeaky, and I think StreamYard will pick that up. Yes, Trial TV Live and me and maybe the Notorious Jules or Jules the Notorious, I'm not sure, will be attending Ashley Benefield's sentencing. So I best be catching up on her stuff on twice the speed. Let's see. Will my trial be televised? I'm trying to think if I have any currently that would be televised. Trials are televised out of my courthouse often. And yes, I do think there are some that may be. I don't think that's going to be one of them. Sneaky Side wants Erin to take her face down. I don't know what that means either. Jenny says, I'm hoping the Kohberger trial doesn't drag on like the Sarah Boone. Oh, he was the other one I wanted to talk about. Thank you. Okay. I have a general understanding of of the crime and what has been happening there. What I thought was really interesting, though, was I caught part of a hearing yesterday, I think it was yesterday, where they were in court in their new county in front of their new judge, and she was his defense attorney. Her name is Ann Taylor. She is a zealous defense attorney. I would be happy to have her as my defense attorney. Because she is already putting motions forward to the court about the death penalty in Idaho, because at the moment, they don't have a way to execute people, is what I took from this. So they don't have the chemicals. They don't know that they'll get the chemicals, because I don't think anybody can get the chemicals. So they're talking about bringing the firing squad back, which, little Handmaid's Tale, too much for me, but I guess that's the direction things may be going if they can't get the chemicals. So the judge is like, you're too early for this. This could be decades. And I just thought it was really interesting that she was covering her bases so thoroughly that she literally is thinking that far down the road. Whether I have an opinion on if he's guilty or not, I don't. I mean, I know that they investigated. I think they were wrong for tearing down that house. I think that should have remained. I understand why they tore it down. It's on a college campus, but I don't think they should have done that. I don't like these overly sensationalized trials too much. So, but I want to talk to you guys about what you want to talk about. So I always need you to leave questions or things you want to talk about in the community tab. I'll try to put one up every week if I remember. Jenny says that the judge said they can get the drugs and it will be decades before he's executed. We'll see there. I heard it backwards. Oh, yeah. So a therapist, is saying, since there isn't a method in place, it would be inhumane to sentence him to the death penalty. That was her argument. Very good. You're correct. That is a much better explanation than the one I just gave. So, I am really interested in watching the defense of some of these cases. I really want to bring you that section from Andrea Burkhart's channel. And, everybody should go over there and give her tons of support, and Attorney Lee and Bob Mata, for doing what they're doing, which is going into the courtroom every day, standing in line, going in there, taking furious notes, not going to lunch so they don't lose their spot, and trying to shed some light on what is actually happening in that court. And what sounds like is happening in that court is horrible. And the jury has been out now for several days. I did not watch any of the trial, but I do want to show you a clip from Andrea's stream last night where she talks about the resources available to the defense versus the state, because I think it's would be really enlightening. I know I watch a lot of different channels on YouTube. I think every channel's got a unique perspective. So I'm not going to tell you not to go watch anybody's channel. I think you should go watch everybody's channel, because they all have something different to offer. And, I'm just here to offer another perspective, I guess. Let's see. Krista is talking about Andrea Burkhart and Attorney Lee. I think what they've done has been incredible, absolutely incredible. I agree. And I wasn't watching it. So Leah sent it to me last night. I was just picking up information in my peripheral. So she sent me this 2-hour stream, and I was listening to it today as I was actually attempting to prepare for my own stream. And I got, like I said, to right around just over the hour mark, and they were discussing how stacked the odds are against the defense. And I wanted you to hear that from actual defense attorneys. I didn't want you to just hear it from me, because at one point somebody said in a live stream somewhere that they thought I was very pro the defendant. And I'm not coming on here to be pro the defendant. I'm pro people getting what they have a right to. And they have a right to lawyers and resources the same as the prosecution of the state does. And I just want to show people what that looks like from the indigent side of things. If I were arrested, I don't know for what, I barely leave the house, but if I were arrested, I could not pay my bond. I couldn't make a bond, and I'd sit in jail. And bad things can happen when that occurs. And there's a very good documentary about that. So I've got some books in mind that I think would be interesting. I've got some documentaries in mind that I think could be interesting. I'm not suggesting that we read books on stream together, but I thought maybe I would create some little community interest things, and we could share what we're all watching, or if we're watching a documentary, or if there's a book. Yeah, and I just want to have a very interactive channel, and I hope to be able to bring you actual presented information next week. So Judy T is saying Kohlberger is the poster boy for delay, delay, delay. It feels like it just happened, but I know it's been years ago. Pro justice, Krista, thank you. Yes, that is truly why I'm here. I never thought in a million years I would end up working in criminal law, let alone criminal defense. So you never know what a midlife crisis will bring you. Who should have a trial before he's sentenced? My client. So either he will win or lose on the retrial motion. So either he gets a new trial or he doesn't. The judge either finds that we met the prongs of the test or whatever the standard is that I have to go back and review. A lot of law is a test. So does your issue meet these 3, 4, 5 prongs? Does it do this? Okay, well then does it do this? Yes. Okay, then you have that. And it's very formulaic in that way, but it's about how you argue it. It's it's hard to explain, and even though I taught it for a year during the pandemic, I still struggle to sort of explain things in a way that makes sense. I think television has both helped us and hurt us because it sets, standards that we just don't have. Let's see. So I see some other folks here. Also stay home a lot. Yeah, I work here, so I stay here a lot, and that's fine because you know what? I've got a case, and it's not my first one, of a person being shot and killed on the highway as cars were shooting at each other. Um, I mean, if you can think of it, I've probably got a case. I've got one where a fight broke out at a nightclub between a wedding party and some gang members, and one of the wedding guests was killed, shot and killed, and surveillance camera got that. Um, so yeah, it's scary out there, and I don't like being out in the world so much. And I think that's why we're seeing so many faces on YouTube, is because, like I'm seeing in my chat right now, there's a lot of people who still want to connect, but for whatever reason don't want to go outside. Now, I do go outside. I go to the jail, which is no one's idea of fun. Go to the jail, go to the grocery store. I do the normal things, but I'm not like out eating dinner at places, or, you know, I stay away from Walmart actually a lot. I made a really fun little video for you guys today that I have to figure out how to finish and export, and it talks about things like the murder aisle at Walmart in my video. So, okay. Legal-minded friends, Karen Cole. Are you speaking to me that my job sounds interesting? Oh, I knew one of you were going to say this about Sarah Boone's writings. What do Sarah's writings say? Where are Sarah's writings? I think that they are on the shelf to my left. And I promised Trial TV I was going to look at them, and I have not, but I will. I think it's just more writing about Sarah. I think I've seen them before. I think one of them is a big thing that she may have taped together, like it was several pages all taped together. So I'll look at them, and we'll see if we can't share some of those with you guys. Trial TV Live says they'll help me with my video. I know you will. Thank you. I'm trying to figure it out. It seems as though I have made myself a PDF presentation in Canva that I cannot now convert to video with a voiceover. So I'm going to have to start over. But it's really cute. I like what I did. I could very easily get lost in the creation of all things for YouTube. It would be so easy. Have I talked to Billy? No. No, that's not true. I texted him right after Sarah's verdict, and I was like, I hope you're getting some rest. He's like, I'm in South Carolina looking for a dead body. Billy Lane of Prison Break Investigations is my friend, was my initial sponsor to become a private investigator. I worked for him, for his agency, Prison Break Investigations. That's how I know Sarah Boone. I was on Sarah's case initially. So Billy also has a nonprofit, and I do want to get a hold of him. And I talked about this with Trial TV Live. I'd like to see if we can get him to come on and talk about his nonprofit, because it's a group of sort of ex-law enforcement military specialists that go out looking for missing people who are presumed dead, like Gabby Petito or Brian Laundrie, sorry. They were not the ones who found her, but they weren't, or him, but they weren't far behind. So anyway, he's got this really great nonprofit, and I feel like it might be a good chance to let him talk about something he feels good about. I mean, he gets good outcomes for his clients, but he knows that everybody in the world is just over Sarah. So I don't know. I need to check in with him. Let's see. What court or country do you work in? So I am in Tampa, Florida, and I work in the state circuit courts. Although I have my eye out for a job all the time in the Attorney General's office, because that would be cushy and I'd get benefits. I'm surprised she didn't use that she didn't use the tape to tailor her outfit, Amy. I don't even know where she got her hands on tape. Let's see. Do I know Steve Gusney? I do not. Yeah, I know you guys aren't over, Sarah. You want to know more. I'm gonna work on that. Hi, Wendy Williams. Wondering if the JAC will pay for Dr. Harper to testify at Sarah Boone's sentencing. I'm wondering if we ever see Owens again. Where is Sarah Boone now? Lots of Sarah Boone questions. Okay, well, the JAC has already thrown a ton of money at Sarah, so I'm imagining that they will go ahead and do that. We will see Owens again at the sentencing and probably on court TV. Sarah Boone is still in the Orange County Jail, and I believe she's probably in solitary, and I think some of you guys actually know that for a fact, although I'm not sure how. But because she is high profile and she has been convicted, she would go back and be in a cell by herself, and we know she does not like that. So, yeah, Sarah has become like the most unlikely celebrity. It's just the weirdest thing. I sit in the room with a person whose police report I've read, and I never know what I'm going to find on YouTube, on social media about them. I've had other cases that have been televised that I worked on and then came off of. And I've talked to Trial TV about that too, about maybe collaborating on a case that I have worked on that went to trial, and they could stream it and I could tell you about it. So we're looking at fun projects like that. Amy says she'd like to know what happened in Sarah's childhood home. A killer, a child, and a pair of drunks. Yeah, I think there was a lot of dysfunction going on there. Wendy Williams, absolutely go to bed. Absolutely. You guys go to bed. It's my bedtime too. Judy says she does seem like the type to blame her childhood. I fully believe she did that. Unbalanced says I wouldn't call her a celebrity, more a cause celeb. Right? Yeah, well, you aren't wrong about that. Yes, at Trial TV and I are going to try to work together on some stuff. I just really want to, as much as I want to be entertaining, I want you to learn too. That's like the geeky side of me, is I want you to understand what it's like to actually be a licensed private investigator. I mean, investigators come in all shapes and sizes. There are a lot of people out there that are licensed investigators that never set foot anywhere near a courtroom. They are accident investigators, insurance investigators. They're the ones that have built a big practice for family law, for, the cheating spouse type thing. I fell into this. I did not know it existed until I worked in a law office for a private defense attorney who had a contract with the JAC, and I was hiring investigators. That's how I found out that this was a job I could do. And I decided that I liked this job much better than the idea of being the lawyer up there responsible for that person's life, basically. Maybe if I had done this 20 years ago, I might have had the stamina or the whatever to go and be a trial attorney, but I don't, and I didn't, and I'm not. So I still get to see all the behind the scenes stuff, and I've got a lot less stress. I also make a lot less money, but everything's a balance. So thank you guys, everybody, for being here. I really appreciate it, for another one of my sort of stream of consciousness streams. I am hoping to understand how to properly show you things and go over things with you. I don't expect that you guys are going to keep showing up every Saturday night to sit here and listen to me talk and Henry to meow. I do have information to share. I just need to figure out how to do it so that I don't screw everything up any worse than I already do. I think we're much more successful this time. I did not boot myself out of my own stream, nor did I break the stream, and nobody had to redirect the stream. So that's fantastic. And I have my friends at Trial TV Live, also the Squeegee of Justice is part of Trial TV Live, to thank for their support, because I would not be able to do this without them. And Leah, who is my moral support and is a mod. I just have to figure out how to give her permissions to be a mod. I think I have to pay. Jenny says, love it. You have so much knowledge to share. I'll be here. I have an alarm set on my phone. Yeah, so again, I'm really encouraging you guys to please, please, please utilize the community tab. I'll put one up every week. I want to hear your feedback. I want to know, do you like Saturday nights at this time? Is that not good for you? Because for me, I don't just want to record videos and put them up. I want to record some videos, put them up, and then come talk to you about them. I want to talk to you. I want to hear what you have to say. And I do not know why Unbalanced Equation is bent on me needing a clock. I don't understand. Yeah, I do. Rescue dogs. I guess I do have a lot of the info that some of you trial, that a lot of you trial watchers want to know. And I find myself listening to these trials or listening to legal commentary channels, and I'm yelling, like, no, it's not like that. No. So here's an opportunity to tell you what it is like. And I'll tell you everything I can, but I am subject to attorney-client privilege. But there are some things we can go back and look at. And every time I get an alert on my phone that there's been an arrest for something, I wonder if it's going to end up in my lap sooner or later, because you never know. So yeah, there will be collabs between me and Trial TV as soon as I get my stuff together here. Legal-minded Karen Cole says, I stopped doing lives until I have a coordinator to manage streaming. Yeah, it's at Trial TV Live they have saved me. I am not joking. Krista says Saturday evening is great. It's a unique time. It was actually suggested to me by Leah, and she said that nobody was streaming on Saturdays. And I apologize for the glare in my glasses. I'm still working on trying to figure that out as well. You know, I have an improvised setup. We'll just see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. At least I managed to get on here, be coherent, and keep 25 of you for a little over an hour. And I appreciate that so much. I appreciate your time. I will make a community post, and I want to hear what you guys have to say. I'm not kidding, like, oh, leave it in the comments, or but you can leave stuff in the comments. I don't care. I'll go back and read everything, but you can also interact on the community tab. I want to know, what do you want to know about? What do you want to talk about? You know, I don't necessarily think you want to hear about the same cases that everybody else has done and done more thoroughly and with more knowledge, but I'm here to interact with you guys. So definitely, definitely do that. And I'm not on social media, and Jenny, I will rectify that. So you cannot find me anywhere else but here. So my email is exactly my channel name at Gmail. You have the comment section and you have the community tab, and let me hear from you, and I'll keep working on trying to get better. And let's see, my hearing is on Tuesday. I won't have an outcome because it'll take months probably before there's an outcome. But it'll be interesting, to say the least. They had to disqualify an entire judicial circuit. It's crazy. It's crazy. I really want to work on that case as like a cold case, wrongful conviction type situation, because I think they have the wrong guy. Anyway, thank you so much for all of your time and patience. And I hope I will see you again next week, again on Saturday, at least for now. Krista wants to know, am I going to share the clip from the live last night? So I have the entire thing queued up. I don't know how to do it, but I will. So, because it's important, it doesn't matter what trial it's for. It's a message that I believe in, and I think they're very articulate. So I will get it together, and you will see it. I just didn't. My ADHD gets control of me, and I've got my finger in too many things at once, and I end up with nothing. And so I just decided that I would at least know of some information when I came on this week. Sneaky Side says, success. Yes. Trial TV says, I'm awesome. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Yes, cats are everything. Thank you so much. Unbalanced Equation, if you want to drop me a line about the clock situation, I'd love to know. I recently got a watch and realized that I had to really think about telling time again. Anyway, you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye.